Good day to you. This is Reg F. and Howard Raw, Siren Buddha Medicine. And I'm going to talk about what's going on right now. As far as the overall feeling, general movement. Notice how lately there's a lot of advertisement, more than I've ever seen, regarding disease, and in particular, cancer. How does this tie in? Well, it's an overload of ads and material talking about cancer. At the same time, there's an overload of spray being administered through chemtrails. The spray, through research, has been identified to have nanobites in it, which, if you use sound and noise technology, can actually trigger, I'm not exactly sure how to tell you this technology works, but if you do the research, you will be able to equate nanotechnology with the chemtrail spray, along with the sound and noise warfare going on, and the overload of ads to the susceptible population. Susceptible by way of stress and these things that I've just mentioned. If we're unaware of them while we're eating certain things and we're stressed out, you're actually an open conduit. For what though? See, we're at a time when there is accelerated DNA. We are accelerating as human beings right now, mentally, emotionally, and physically. We are at a space where we need to adapt to survive, or will fail to survive. Remember how if you've taken anthropology, there are species of humans, humanoids, if you use that theory of evolution at all, if you even use just what I'm using is just the bone structures, and that you can identify that certain species no longer exist, certain species of humans, as we evolved, as the world changed, these were all coordinated and coordinating with changes within the earth, whether it was continent change or ice age. Our evolutionary process is in one of those spaces again. And so it's time to speed up. Those of us who are unable to merge these new DNA adaptations, I'm at a loss for words sometimes with what I need to interpret to you. Notice how it's necessary to not only merge as a species, okay? Not just there, and it doesn't necessarily have to be on a physical level, but emotionally, okay? Spiritually, we must merge. And that's where it's at. Pulling the parts of ourselves from the astro, the parts of ourselves that we've given away, our will and our deeper parts of ourselves that think, that want to create, that feel like we're connected and responsible to those people around us. It's another level or dimension of awareness or spirituality. It's part of our evolutionary process. So you could say that as far as the universe is concerned, if the humanoids that can't do this would be more like the ones who no longer exist if you look at anthropology and you look at the humanoid species from back then. Perhaps it was those who could not adapt to tools or to climate change. The sun's frequencies have increased now in this time. Climate has changed. Our weather, it's not what it used to be. The food is not what it used to be. It doesn't taste the way that it did 40 years ago. It's not a lot of time. So, while they're spraying us and we're eating certain things that we can't run away from, some of us, it's just behavioral. These are things that we need to start to adapt, to change, to teach ourselves. It's necessary for survival. And if we don't learn them, we just, excuse me saying so for those who are so lighthearted, but we just won't survive. Because there will be consequences. Just literally continue to walk into the dysfunction that we've been living in. Only now, it's accelerated. Because they have an agenda to depopulate. And it's okay, for the most part, because it coincides with the cleanse and the purge that the universe is doing itself anyway. So if we're just the smokescreen, the illusion is to keep us all cloudy and ignorant, to keep showing us the shiny shit so that we're blinded by the knife they're sticking in our backs, which is our own accountability towards gaining knowledge and how to protect ourselves. And I'm not talking about sigils and all that kind of stuff and magic. I'm talking about learning about the magic they've done on us. About how they use words organic and clean and natural. And none of that is truth. How when they use the word God, they're talking about money. How when they say I come in peace, they mean I want to separate from you. How you're not allowed to be who you are, to feel how you are, to have your own feelings. How you'll be sanctioned. How we have been sanctioned for thinking differently or wanting to include. You get excluded. And everybody's in their little boxes playing ticky-tack. And they all look just the same. Cookie cutters and carbon copies. And you better be one of them and not step out of line. And that's the kind of whirlwind funnel that's going to suck us right into the pit really fast. Beloved, stay away from that. Continue your studies. Continue to, as I am, trying to correct behaviors, intent, create. What am I going to create? What am I creating? Why? Try to make it to the best of your ability, whatever means you have, whether they're great or small. And pass it on. Get back to the earth and commune with it, because it does speak to us. The sun is speaking to us. The trees are speaking to us. All we need to do is reach out and touch the things that we need with whatever tent we have in our hearts, and pretty much at 0 point. The thing is not to get overclouded by all the knowledge. Let your intent, your heart lead the way. Like, what are you looking for and why? And then when it's time to release, what kind of things do you do and why? And where do you do it and why? And let that all add up to your life and a natural way that we live, that we're changing things in order to survive. How we interact with one another. Because there is an agenda. And we have an agenda. And our agenda is not to survive, because we've been surviving. We want to live now. We want to create now. And we're going to do it all right in the midst of the whirlwind that others are creating for themselves. I feel you stepping out of the way with me. I feel like we're hard to see sometimes. But it's not so hard when we smile at each other and when we're really there for each other. Divine intervention is awesome. So keep incorporating universal law in your heart's intent. Don't play with things that are unnecessary. Keep your brothers and sisters in mind. We are connected. Astrologically, this is full elemental zodiac. It's all the energy that they've stolen and been utilizing. All the symbolic things that tap into our unconscious psyche and the spiritual energy that we're called to tap into now. Our intuition, our spiritual intellect, deeper capacity to love and accept one another, using our intellect, of course, as well as our nature, being aware that words are tricky, that religion is tricky, that programming is tricky, and that there's a lot of stuff going on around us that's really tricky. So we must keep our best selves at all times, no matter what we're going through in front of us, and just try to improve whatever state that you're in. And know, I wouldn't want to do it any other way, regardless of what's going on. I still want to continue to be the best person that I interpret that I can be. I don't care what everybody else is doing. If I ever have to come back here, or wherever I go, when I leave this vessel, this ship, this state of being, I want to know that I've actually tried to be cohesive with everything around me. I know I'll be okay if I go straight through the middle. I'm a part of the all. Anyway, I needed to give you this message about the sickness trigger, okay? That's what it is. It's a trigger. So you're watching TV and you're minding your own business, you know, and boom, everywhere you're somewhere and people are talking about cancer, you know, and all these children are sick, and it's striking these feelings. You could be well, and it's striking these really odd feelings. It's not like you don't have compassion for those around you that are becoming ill, that have lost loved ones. I mean, I really feel for them. It's terrible. I don't want to be one of them. I don't want that frequency and signal on me. And I'm aware that it's actually increased. So it seems more like, I assure you, it's more like more of the programming. Okay, so this is psychological warfare. And it's a disease being implanted in you psychologically. So you don't have to just eat it anymore. They can suggest it. And voila. I mean, everybody else is getting sick, right? So why not you? Especially if you keep thinking about it and you call that to your perception by way of universal law, right? It's a law of attraction and correspondence. Everybody else around you is talking about it. And oh gee, yeah, they are spraying in the food and all this and that, but no. Not if you meditate and do the things that are necessary to get our bodies in a place where we can regroup and recuperate. You know, there are many different paths and avenues, like drumming, for instance, helps to regenerate the body. You know, tantra, yoga, water, tai chi. You know, they're actually snatching people up that are into Tai Chi for their organs in some places. That's how good it is. Yeah. You know, your food alone, some people just go the food route and just do vegan, work out a little bit to relieve their stress. What I'm saying is, do something for your health. Sun gazing, dealing with your ions and regenerating your cellular structure. Okay, go do your research. Minister Inky got some really good stuff. Seven Balmer got some really good stuff. Learning a lot. Santos, he got some really good information on right now. Dr. Phil Valentine. And it depends on what you're into, okay? But as far as catching up on some stuff, if you don't know anything, and even if you're advanced, those are some really, really good sources. You know. Much love to you. This is Reg F. and Howard Raw, Siren Buddha Medicine, keeping it real. Watch out for that signal. Don't fall for the trigger. Watch out for the shiny shit. It'll get you every time. Much love to you.